safersix.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.
You will note that in a physical sense I'm on my own tonight, but I'm not really. I've got a special guest.
And that was the last we heard from Dave before his internet went off. So I'm afraid it's not the Haze Hour tonight. Dave is suffering badly with internet problems. He was tweeting from his iPhone this morning, but apparently even that died eventually. So basically, we can say what we like about him because he's not going to hear. But as the man himself would do if he were here, this is the Haze Hour. Yes, okay, so there you go. That was the slightly amended titles there. No expense gone to, as you could see. I've still got those somewhere, actually, those titles. Oh, yeah, I'm using them as presentation matter. Anyway, yeah, so we were caught out a bit with Dave's internet going down. But as is the way, and as somebody pointed out to me, is this the craziest VTTV week ever? And it may be. Gary got his show out on the right day, didn't he? And that's it, I think. But everybody's rallied round. And we've got a show for you. And I've got, like, not one or two, but three special guests. And here they are. So, on the top left there, we've got Kat. Say hi, Kat.
Hi, everybody.
And in the middle, it's Sav.
Hello.
And on the right, from Vapor Scene, it's Mark, a.k.a. Marco Van Basten. How you doing, Mark? And what we've done is we had a little rally round earlier, and we decided, we thought about a few things we could talk about tonight, and that's what we're going to do. So all that I need to do, really, is sit here and do the continuity bit. Pretty much. And remember what the topics were. And I think the first one we were going to discuss tonight was the MVP. Now, that's been mentioned, including by myself, that's been mentioned a few times recently on VTTV. Trust me, we're not sponsored by Inokin or anything. I don't even think anybody got one for free, did they? I think we've all been out and bought these as well, you know. And the reason we're using them seems to be that they're actually damn good e-cigs. That's certainly the case for me. But what I'll do is we'll go around sort of clockwise on the screen, I think. And Kat, I know you've been using an MVP. What are you thinking about it?
I love it. I've been using it for 2 months now, and it just works. It's fabulous. And I'm quite a heavy vapor, so it lasts me quite a few days, you know. And you can swap bits and pieces around. I mean, I've got an Ivy on there at the moment. Working a treat. Love it.
That Ivy still going well, is it?
It's not just a holly in the Ivy, this. It's not just for Christmas, you know, it lasts all year.
Very good, very good. I should have set that one up better.
It's very good, yeah. For a pin style Atty, you know, peg style, it's very good indeed. I like it.
Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. And okay, so we'll move around the clock to Sav. Now, I must say, Sav, just before you start, I bought mine because of you. So
yeah, I've been using mine a couple of weeks longer than Kat, and I mean, the Darwin used to be never out of my hand. This gives the Darwin a good run for its money. I must say that. I love it.
Really, yeah? That's praise indeed coming from you, isn't it?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I've got an MT3 on it at the minute, and I get about 2.5 days if I leave it without sticking it on charge, but normally I've got mine plugged in whilst I'm sitting next to the PC, so it never goes flat.
Because it does work as a pass-through, doesn't it?
It does. It works very well as a pass-through.
So use it while it's charging. What is it? Okay, so the battery life is something you like about it, but what else?
Well, the main reason I bought it, if people don't already know, I'm the world's laziest vapor, and can't charge.
I reckon I could
batteries.
probably give you a run for your money on that one, but go on, we'll let that one slide.
And it's the whole charging batteries thing. They go in the e-cig as soon as they're flat. I put them down, and that's it. They will never, ever, ever be charged. Ever. So I have to have something that's USB charged. I just have to.
Right. Fair enough.
And that was why I thought this is perfect for me.
Excellent. Okay, let's move across to Marco. Now, you've only recently received yours, I think, haven't you, Marco?
Yeah, I got mine, oh God, when was it? Last Wednesday morning before I went up to Scotland.
Yesterday or the week before?
I think you got it just a couple of days before I did.
Because I got mine last Friday. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah, so you got yours the same week as me.
Right.
I didn't start using it, mind, until probably the beginning, probably Saturday when I got back. I charged it in Scotland, had a little look at it. Still got the case. And I've not used the iClears yet.
That's just because I never tidy my desk.
What I have on mine, though, is I've got a 5mm Ego CC on it with a fancy little tip changer, so you can put 510 connections on there.
Right.
And that's quite funky, I have to say. And yeah, I like it. It's a nice size. It's got a nice weight to it. And I've even plugged in the iPhone. And it charges the iPhone, which is quite funky.
I was going to ask if anybody done that, actually. You've actually used it to charge something. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. So. I mean, I saw Phil Basado had it on an interview that I did with him for Vapor Scene last October. And then obviously I've seen Cat and Sav with theirs, and they said it was pretty good. So I thought, I'll just pick one up. So I did. And it's here.
Excellent. Well, as I say, I got mine... it was last Saturday mine arrived. Saturday, I think it was. I don't know. About a week ago, put it that way. Just under a week. And I've used it loads, actually. Right now, and I can do what you guys can't, I can go to a close-up picture, which I think is that one there. That seems fairly close. Yeah, it's frozen a bit there. Probably going to crash. We'll see. I've got this VH steam machine thing on it. What's it called? Not a VHS. VST.
Betamax.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Betamax steam machine on it. So it's a bit unwieldy at the moment. But one of the things I do like about the MVPs, most of my 510 mods don't have the sort of Ego type thread, and this one does. So, who was using the Kanga MT3 on it? Was that you, Sam?
That was me. Yeah.
Does that screw straight on?
No, on my version it doesn't. So I've got it on a Ego 510 adapter.
Yeah.
But I did hear someone saying that on some of them they've changed the adapter so that it does, but I couldn't say for definite because on mine it does not.
I haven't got a Kanga to try on it, otherwise I'd tell you, because with mine being quite sort of new, it probably is the newer model. I don't really know how you'd tell, to be honest. But no, I saw a review. Oh, you got one there, have you? Give it a whirl.
That was a hand. I'll grab it in the break.
Okie doke. And another thing that just pops into my mind, and I don't claim to fully understand the difference, but I was looking at reviews before I bought this, and I stumbled across a review, and I can't remember who it was by now. It was an American guy, and he got a scope on it, and he was saying that it basically uses pulse width modulation. Right, which generally speaking, a lot of people say isn't good for Genesis atomizers, but you're running yours just fine, Katia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried with
at
many.
all.
I haven't tried with many, and well, actually, I've only got one Genesis atomizer that screws onto a 510. The other two being hybrids, and that needs re-wicking badly, so it wouldn't be a good test of it at the moment. but it's working fine, yeah.
I'll change it over to something else whilst you're talking, Dave. You can see they can see for themselves. Then
is that a Z Max? Is it in your on there?
No, this is a spheroid.
No, the mod.
The mod? Heck no, that's a Vamo.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, I just put my RGT on it, and that works.
And it's working all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's firing. Yeah.
There you go. That's versatility. But I'll tell you something very odd. The iClear that comes with it, which worked brilliantly, stopped working, and I thought it was dud.
Right.
And I stuck it on the old faithful Ego that everything works on. Everything works on an Ego. Don't ask me why. Missed one of the mysteries of life.
Because they're simple.
It works again. Odd.
Very odd.
Put it back on here and it doesn't. So I haven't got the answer to that.
That's got to be a connector thing.
Could
be. Well, it's good that you brought up the iClear, because obviously one of the big deals about this thing is they're packaged with these Inokin iClear, which are basically a dual coil clearomizer, aren't they? And I did show mine briefly on my show on Sunday. I'll just put the camera up again. There we go. And you can see that I put the nice Siam tip on it. And this iClear thing, right, mine worked really well for a couple of days. In fact, until shortly after my show on Sunday, at which point it just started tasting burnt and almost clogged up and not wicking as well. I haven't started using the second one yet, but this first one now, I can't use it. But what I haven't done, Kat, is try it on an Ego battery. But I know you've had some issues with the iClears in general. Maybe we'll go to Sav?
Yeah, the first one I got out of the pack, I've still got it here, it's still working. It's also got one of those metal tips on. And that one was amazing. And it worked, and it worked, and it worked, and it worked. And that was with a 50-50 juice, and it was wow. After about 3.5 weeks, I thought to myself, you're going to have to change that because 3.5 weeks old, stop being tight. And I got the second one out of the packet and it didn't work. And I thought, So, as I always do with anything that doesn't work, I'll stick it on the Darwin. And the Darwin came up with a giant exclamation mark saying, no, it doesn't work. So, we figured out that it was shortened.
Right.
And ordered some new ones. I thought, not to worry. Again, a couple of them were fine, a couple of them were shorting out. So we sort of investigated the whole thing a bit more. I ordered some of the replacement innards and things for them. And again, I think out of a pack of 5, 4 worked great. 1 was shorting out.
Well, just while you're talking there, I'm going to pop up that picture that you sent. Yeah, you sent me a picture, didn't you, of what it looks like inside. Let's get that on the screen while you talk. Yeah. There we go, far away.
We pulled them apart and took some photos of sort of the, as you can see, of the setup of them. And I think you can see with that picture why it would be really easy for these things to short out. Because if they're touching, or if they're touching the side or something, it's just not going to work right. So we did with, it was actually Mr. Dawn that had a bit of a play around inside and sort of pulled them away from each other and got everything back central the way it should be, and it worked again absolutely fine. But it took a while for to figure that out.
Well, yeah, and you know, the way these things are designed, when you screw in the mouthpiece, I'm just trying to find the original one here, and I'll get this up on the screen again for people to see. The mouthpiece is designed to put pressure on that top section as well, isn't it? Yeah,
so, and because that's what I first thought it was, because it was when I...
it actually does press that down. So if anything's going to be forced together and short, you'd think that isn't going to help.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. I thought it was maybe the metal mouthpiece, which didn't come as standard with it, was a tiny bit longer than the normal ones, but it also did the same thing with the plastic mouthpiece.
Yeah, because that is exactly the thought that was just going through my mind as you said it, actually. And I've just put the original one back on. But mine isn't shorting, it's just stopped performing after, well, what I would describe as a disappointingly short time. But I know that you've had those problems. And Kat, you were saying that you've had that one just stop working on you. Did you have other thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I had exactly the same problem that Sav had. You know, because we have tried quite a few of these, because I have to say, when they are working properly, the flavour, the throated is absolutely spot on.
I would agree, yeah.
Really, really good. And we contacted the supplier who had been in touch with Inokin, and he had done a few experiments himself and had found, I believe it was 8 out of 20 caused a similar problem, had a similar problem. So he's been in touch with Inokin, and bless his heart, he's been back in touch to tell me that there are 3 batches have now come out from Inokin, and so far batch 2 and 3 seem to be relatively trouble-free. So he thinks Inokin have listened. Also, there is something called the iClear 30s are due out very shortly.
Right.
Which I'm hoping will be, the famous version 2. So let's hope that the iClear 30 solves it, because quite frankly, it's an amazing little bit of kit, the iClear.
Well, it could be. I mean, that one, it's like breathing in bonfire fumes at the moment. It gets the back of the throat. There's something burning badly in there, and I think I'm going to stop. That's interesting. So the iClear 30 is what might be the solution, you think?
Well, let's hope so.
Okay.
I have tried to contact Inokin myself, but they are famous for not getting back. I think English may be a bit of a problem. Not sure, but they haven't got back to me as yet, although in fairness, it was only yesterday I tried to contact them, so let's wait and see.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Now, Marco, you've not actually tried the iClear yet, is that right? Did I understand earlier?
Yeah, that's right. I've still got them in the box. And I was just looking at them, one, as you were going through that. Took it apart just to have a look. That was an excellent picture, Sav. Really, really good picture. And they look really good, I have to say. But I've not used one yet because I was mucking about with this 5mm Clearo instead.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, well, it'll be interesting to see, how you get on with yours. Like I say, I've used the one, and it was like sort of head and shoulders above any other Clearo design I've tried, until it started tasting like it was on fire. I
have to agree with you, Dave, on that. This one that had died on me, that one has got that taste, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it is there on this one, so
yeah, okay.
I agree with that.
All right then. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll go into our first break, and then we'll come
Before
back.
you do, Dave, can I quickly interrupt you just with a couple of things from chat?
All right, yeah.
Vaporman just wants a quick refresh on what the battery life is like on the MVP.
Right. Well, I'll happily, because I haven't said that much about it compared to you guys. It's a 2600 milliamp hour battery. I've been using it for a week, and I'd say that's pretty reliable as compared to an AW 18650 battery. I would say that it's pretty reliable at 2600. So I mean, obviously, how long it lasts you depends how many volts you use it at. The higher you whack that voltage up, and whatever you put on the top of it is going to affect how quickly your battery drains. But it is actually quite conceivable that it could last some people for 2 days. Or 2.5, you said in your case, Sav.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Very believable. I haven't actually run it to flat yet, because I think I've put it on charge pretty much every night. Or at least I haven't used it solidly each day. But it looks to me like it's a 2600 milliamp hour.
I haven't charged mine since last week, and I don't use it all day. But I've used it all day today, and it's still going. And I charged it last Wednesday.
There you go. Okay, was there anything else, Sam?
Yes, the other thing is Tracy Collins has just said that the MVP version 2 comes with a full set of Ego threads, so we shouldn't need the adapters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I've got then.
Yeah, I think that's what I've got too. Two
If
sets.
you hold yours up to camera, Sav.
Yeah, so that's mine with the adapter on.
Different.
And the Ego threads are just right at the very bottom on version 1.
Right, okay, they go a little bit higher.
Yeah.
On this one, if I hold this one up to camera, I'll do the close-up thing. There we go. You can see that it is an Ego thread. If I take one of these dual coil things.
On version 1, the threads are probably
Goes on
about
there
half
fine.
the size of the threads on that.
Actually, I might leave that on.
You've got the same one as me there, Dave.
Yeah.
That's what I've got, yeah.
Oh, cool. That means I can buy another one so I can get a version 2.
I noticed you haven't got the hoodie on.
No, I haven't got the hoodie on it here. It does
You
have
haven't seen the hoodie, Mr. K.
I did. I saw it on screen, and as Sam was persuading me to buy one, but I didn't go for the hoodie.
Oh, the hoodie's good. It keeps it nice and warm on cold days.
It does get a bit cold. I had it in the car the other day, and it was blooming freezing. So luckily it's not a touch sensitive button, so you can use it with your gloves. We better do these ads. Now, just before we cut to these ads, I should explain that they are the Dave's Tackle Box ads. They'll look familiar, put it that way.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
Good evening, eventually. Took a little while to get things wound up and ready to go then, didn't it? But I'm here now, so welcome to Dave's Tackle Box on Sunday.
So there we go, I'm back in the room and not long to go now. So yeah, I was talking to my son and he's watched me make things before.
And a very good evening to you. It is Tuesday the 20th of November 2012 and you are tuned into VTTV.
At VTTV TV Towers. Tonight being Wednesday night, it is time for the one and only chat show programme called VT Talk. is the Haze Hour.
Again.
Keith was just saying if it wasn't for the titles, he wouldn't come and do the show. He loves them so much, don't he?
Well,
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tap Box.
And welcome back. Right, now I'd just like to dedicate this next section of the show to Dave Dawn, who used to work here.
To who?
Yeah, exactly.
Dave?
Yeah, I read it somewhere. I wouldn't
Never heard of him.
too much.
Right.
So anyway, this next section of the show tonight, we're going to talk about, well, I suppose a loose theme that will run through it is rebuildables in it. So I think most of the team now are using rebuildables of some sort, at least part of the time. I've certainly been trying all sorts of different ones over the last few months. But we'll go around clockwise again, if you like. If we go to Kat, you've got some new ones that you're getting on with quite well, aren't you?
I got the spheroid.
Right.
Can you see it there? Can you see me pretty little drip tip, by the way?
I can. It looks like a chest pawn.
Doesn't it? It's copper.
Copper?
And it doesn't have a taste.
Oh, right, okay.
Very, very nice, that.
It's actually copper metal.
It's copper.
Or
and I don't know
copper-coloured.
if it's fully copper.
I was going to say, isn't that
or
bad?
what it is. It might be a veneer of some sort, but there's no taste or anything with it. And I've been using it for about a week now.
It looks
I
nice.
really like that.
It does. It looks lovely, that.
It does. And it's on the spheroid, which a certain gentleman that we always refer to these days as the Belgian recommended it. And I thought, So Sav ordered one. And, hey, we had great fun seeing how this thing worked. But it was surprising. It was up and running in about, 10 minutes or so?
I thought you were going to say a week then.
It was about 10 minutes or so. And I thought, I watched her, and I thought, that looks good. And I had a taste, and I thought, hey, it's good, that. Canny bit flavour than ours. As Mr. Who? Who did you say was? Dawn. Aye, that's him.
That's him, yeah.
As he would say. And it's like a giant cardo.
Right.
It's like a giant cardo. But, I'll not do all the talking about it. I'll let a ladyship here tell you a bit more about it. She's had hers longer than me.
Well, I haven't got a spheroid, so I'm eager to learn.
Well, I wanted something that was going to be simple. And
Right.
the Belgian said that even I could manage with this. And he was right. It is simple because it's the silica wick rather than mesh, because it was always the mesh that put me off.
Right.
Because me and burning things is never ever a good idea. And this was just easy.
Okay.
I couldn't believe how easy.
So, I bet you can't take it apart if it's full.
I can actually.
Do that then. Do that.
Can...
So you've got it's a silica wick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. You've got the bottom part, which is the silica wick and coil.
Okay, so that's a fairly sort of standard arrangement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the top part, if I can get it off, is you've got a centre tube.
Right.
Goes down there, and you wrap your stuffing around the centre tube.
Okay.
And then you pop it in there and fill it. And that's it.
That's quite similar to this thing. Well, it is in a way. It is okay. This is the steam machine again, which is something I never got around to reviewing on my show, and I don't know why I did that. But this reminds me totally of the old cart system that you used to just stick in the top of an atomizer. Anybody that's been vaping less than 12 months probably won't know what a 510 or a 901 cart looked like. But basically you had a plastic mouthpiece, obviously this is metal, with this wadding stuffed in the top. And that's your juice reservoir in there. In fact, this one could probably do with the top up, so what I'll do is I'll just plonk a bit of juice in there. And because I'm trying this juice out, I got it free with the MVP. It's RY4 for a change. And then the bottom bit, there's a wick down inside there, which you can probably just about make up. And this long tube, and this one's got this variable temperature control in it that I've never even adjusted or touched. But it's a bit like the old cart thing. Now, Sav, what I'm going to ask you next is, John from Flavour Art UK was showing off some Wonder Foam that they've developed, which I'm hearing really good things about. Have you thought about giving that a go?
I have thought about giving that a go, but I read about that the day after I ordered the world's biggest bag of stuffing from Amazon.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes, isn't it? Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm thinking of picking some of that. So what I'll do is I'll send you a bit. I'll buy some and I'll send you a bit so you can try it.
If you ever need any filler, I've got plenty.
Make some cushions.
Yeah, I was going to say I could stuff a cushion or two with the stuff I've got.
So, okay, moving along swiftly. Marco, you using rebuildables?
Yeah, the last one I got was the Argotee.
Tell me about the Argotee, because this is another one I haven't tried. This is a Genesis, yeah?
You can set it up as a Genesis. Let me just unscrew the top. I've got mine set up. I've got a close yappy cam, but I'm not sure if I'll go to it, if I'll lose my video, so I won't go to it. I'll put it up to my camera.
I can see enough.
You can see enough, yeah. So I've got it set up with a stainless steel Genesis ATI using some 0.212. But you can set it up because there's another screw you can take out, so you can make it with a... that's my work BlackBerry going off. Should have silenced that one. You can do a curved one if you want. I've not done one of those yet. Or you can use your fiberglass or your silica. And I saw this actually at Liberty Flights, and I pinged in our Skype chat to Kat, and I said, "Is this any good?" And she said, "Yeah, it's good." So I thought, right, I'll get one of those. So I've been using that for a couple of weeks, and literally, you fill it full of juice, and using the stainless steel mesh wick all the way to the bottom, it just sucks the thing dry. It's marvellous.
Excellent.
Marvellous. Yeah.
Good
Don't waste
stuff.
any juice. And I just fill straight down the middle of the wick itself.
So that's your main weapon of choice at the moment, then?
I kind of go between the Argotee or the other little dripper, that one, the little clone, which I use as well. Use that when I'm tasting, trying a new juice out. And then for the past week, I've been on this 5mm thing, just giving it a good go, because it was gurgling quite a lot.
Right.
So I've had it apart and I've had it back together again a number of times. And I actually purchased 2 when I got it. And I have to say the build quality is not quite there yet. But it will get there. And it's not gurgling as much as it was before. But it's going to be just as rebuildable as the other ones are. If you want to muck about with them. So I've not seen him in the UK, I have to say, yet. So if any vendors have got them out there, let us know.
All right. Keep them peeled. Get Daz on the case for the hardware round.
We'll get Daz on the case, yeah. But the Argotee, I like it, and I might buy another one because they're extremely cheap.
Yes, they're not badly priced at all, are they, those things?
No.
Okay, that's cool. Now, I'm going to go back to Kat, because I know she's got another new toy.
And she's sitting here just filling up a spheroid.
Well,
yes, the other new toy.
The other new toy.
Are we talking
made
about...
by the same people of the one that I tend to keep melting. This is the NGP, is it not? So this is the new one.
Yes.
The new one. I must say, is that a 2-part thing, or is that a hybrid?
It's a hybrid.
Because it does look rather good, doesn't it?
It is light as a feather.
Right.
Light as a feather, even with the battery in, you'd swear blind there was nothing in there. And it's cheap as chips to buy. It is easy to set up. As you well know, having one. This one works with a touch button.
Yeah.
So I haven't got, it's not the sensitive or the ring as was all that was available when you got it.
Indeed.
So it's very, very simple. And Mark from our own team as well, he got one. Mark Jones.
Right.
And I got one. And when it arrived, it came set up, which was a bonus. It's always good when they come set up. And I put some juice in it, and I thought, doing the job, doing it canny, nice taste and all that. And then I looked inside the chamber.
Yeah.
And there I saw a load of vapour.
Right.
And I thought, this is odd. Then I took the cap off. And even more vapour.
Nice.
And I can't, for the life of me, figure out why. I can't find that there aren't many tips that actually fit it. And I'm thinking, well, is that a bit narrow?
Yeah,
or
that
what?
was the problem I had with mine initially, but I think that was mostly because I melted it.
Well, I haven't melted this.
So how's that vapour getting inside the tank then?
I've no idea.
You
If
are sucking
anybody
on it, not
knows,
blowing
answers
it, aren't
on
you?
the postcard, please.
You're not blowing on it by mistake or anything, are you?
You see? It's in there again.
It is. Well, I'm not sure if the
And it
design's
doesn't
the same
detract
as
from it in
mine,
any way.
but there's only one tiny little air hole, isn't there?
Yeah.
In fact,
I mean, the top of this one is made of Delrin. So instead of it just being all one plastic piece, it's
Yeah.
a Delrin top on there now.
yeah, because the one I've got is it's actually a drilled piece of polycarb, I think. So they got like a polycarb solid tube and then drilled it out to make the space where
It
the
works
juice goes.
beautifully.
They do, yes. I have to say, for the money compared to some of the other Jennies about, they really do work rather well, don't they?
Very well indeed. I can't find anything to complain about.
Got a hot
The
spot on
taste
mine.
is there. It's easy to set up. It's light as a feather. It's not going to go off accidentally. Every positive I can think of is there.
What's the tube made of on that one?
What's a tube? It's a very lightweight alloy.
It's aluminium, probably the same as this
Yeah.
one, yeah. Yeah, it's painted black or anodised.
Yeah, it was the black that attracted me, I must admit. I thought
It
that
is
was
nice.
very nice.
I like that. And how much are they doing those for?
It works out round about, I think it was 63 quid, including postage.
That's not a lot, is
Is what I paid for the whole thing. And it took, I think it was 3 days or something, to arrive from the moment they told me it was ready. And I waited, I would say probably about a month. Wouldn't have been much longer than that. So I was quite pleased, very pleased indeed.
Can I put in here? 'Cause,
Yes, please.
Safe for 6 Stars is asking, where do you get them from?
Safer Six Daz is asking.
Safe for 6 Stars is asking.
You can get them directly from NGP, I believe, can't you, Kat?
Yeah,
I got
it's
mine
a guy
at
called
Vatefest
Peter
Island.
Kay, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
That. I got mine at Vatefest Island, but I have seen the website.
You can get them direct, but trust me, it can be a carry-on. As I tried about how many times, Dave? 5 or 6 by doing that. I even emailed them in Hungarian, which didn't work either.
Is that because you don't speak Hungarian, or?
Well, who knows what Google Translator says? I mean,
right.
it could be somebody's idea of a joke. Who knows? Who knows what I've told them? That didn't work, but there was, is it somebody called Sankey, or I'm not quite sure, on UKV, started, if you PM him,
Right.
you can get through, and I think it's Vape Pit as well, so it's pretty easy to get them now.
Right. So try on UKV and the Vape Pit. Somebody there will know the guy's name.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Was there anything else there, Sav?
No, that's it so far.
Rightio. In which case, let's go to our second break. See you in 2 minutes.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
The GG, because you want one.
iVapour and iVapour Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVapour.co.uk and iVapour-elixir.co.uk. iVapour and iVapour-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of VapourTrails.tv.
If you can't watch our shows live, try some of these. Go to YouTube at youtube.com/user/VapourTrailsTV and you can subscribe there. All of our shows are uploaded as soon as possible after they've gone out live. Enjoy watching it on YouTube. Lots of people do. Alternatively, go to Google and type in podcast VapourTrails.tv and iTunes. Click on the link and that will take you to a page that shows you the Vapor Trails TV podcast. View it in iTunes, and when you get to iTunes, don't forget to click on subscribe free, and each of the shows will be downloaded to your hard drive as soon as they come out. Or you can use video on demand. Go to www.vaportrails.tv, click on vPlayer, pick the show you want to watch, in this case it's the Haze Hour, and then you can pick the episode that you want to watch from every one that we've ever done. They're all there. Under normal circumstances, you'll watch it at 360p, which means everybody can see it. It'll go full screen. You can do whatever you want with it. So there you go, 3 ways that you can watch VaporTrails.tv. Subscribe and enjoy. Thanks.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
And welcome back to what we like to call part 3. And in part 3 we're going to be going to be talking a little bit about advertising of e-cigs, because if you frequent forums and such, or Twitter or anything like that, you probably haven't avoided that in the last 7 days or so there's been a couple of TV adverts revealed. The first one was by e-cigs, and who I notice have rebranded the e-cig package. It's now called Sky Start, and we're going to talk about why that might be. And then today, e-lights have shown us that there was a story earlier in the week that they were going to do a television ad campaign. What was the guy's name again, Marco?
It's called Mark Benton, the actor who's in the advert for that.
That's him. That he was going to be in it, and then the ad was coming, and they actually sort of unveiled that today. It's on YouTube, and we've got the 2 ads here to have a look at. So I thought what we'd do first of all is have a look at the e-cigs, or should I say Sky Start one first. See what you think of this.
Life is not about tomorrow, nor is it about yesterday. Life is about the moment, the now. Whoever you are, whatever you do, life only asks you one question. Who will you share it with? Skystart. Go to skystart.co.uk.
Oops. I forgot to unclick the little headphones, and if I'd have clicked the camera shot, it would have gone wah, 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 as it does. But that was the e-cigs ad. Now, it's I watched that. My first thought when I watched it was I knew what it was. I watched it because I followed a link that said, "Look, here's a e-cig ad." But it's a little bit subtle, to say the least, isn't it? I mean, they've rebranded it. There's no mention of e-cig there. It's Skystart, which I presume is because you probably couldn't get away with using the word "cig" and get it past the Advertising Standards Authority. But you know, I mean, it's well filmed and all the rest of it. But interesting, they're very much promoting it as a sort of lifestyle product. I mean, Kat, what did you think when you saw that for the first time?
That is the first time I've seen it.
Oh right, okay. What were your thoughts?
I was clueless as to what it was about.
You have to look very carefully, don't you? You know, they kind of place the little sort of cigarette packet-sized box, which I guess is a PCC or, you know, some kind of case. It was 15 quid, I think it said at the end, so it probably wasn't a PCC.
Yeah.
It's probably just a plastic case. Yeah, it's very, very subtle. You know, it makes you wonder whether they could have been a little bit braver, to be honest, with their advertising.
Well, yeah, because I'm like a lot of viewers. I don't do subtle.
Well, quite. You know, I mean, you know, it should say what it is. You know, but then again, maybe they weren't able to do that. Maybe they weren't allowed. What did you think, Saf?
Maybe they weren't. Maybe it was clever advertising, Dave. Yeah, well, maybe it's one of them things that you go and Google it.
You do have to consider that, don't you? Because you know, yeah, I like things to be quite blunt. I don't particularly do subtle either. But I mean, Sav, what were your thoughts on that?
I have to say I totally agree. I was left a little perplexed, and I think it's aimed at the Google generation. A few people in chat have said the same, that it seems to be aimed at the younger crowd that are going to go off and Google it and go, ah.
Possibly so, right.
Yeah, it did leave me a little bemused.
Marco?
Yeah, like everyone else, really. It's a little bit too subtle. Yes, we know that if it had been more overt, it probably would have got past the ASA. Because you still can't show it, even though it's not smoking, it looks like it. So, you know, they've got to be smart in the way that they advertise, but they're smart, and there's kind of what the F is going on.
Yeah,
and I think everyone's right. They're going to Google it. I won't bother, but people will.
Yeah, well, we know what it is, and we know that ultimately it's something that we're probably not going to buy. But, you know, I mean, I can understand that they probably can't show something that looks like a cigarette and somebody billowing out loads of vapour and stuff. But there's not even a strap line or a message at the end to say what it is there, you know? Presumably, I mean, and this is an assumption on my part. You guys might know better. I don't know it to be true, but I'm assuming that they just can't use the word cigarette, even if it's in the context of electronic cigarette. I really don't know. But I mean, just as maybe we should show the other one first. Let's look at the other ad, and then we'll come back and talk about like the principle of the ads altogether. So as I say, the second one that came out, and this appeared today. They listed it on YouTube today. Did e-lights? I always sort of keep an eye on what e-lights are up to, because it was the first e-cig that I bought. Let's have a look at this one. This is the one with Mark Benton, and it's a slightly different approach.
Yes, I know. Oh, hello. Hello. Harry. It's walking.
promised.
Now, you can probably hear the giggling in the background there. That one to me, okay, again, they're presumably bound by what we assume are quite tight regulations laid down for them. But that one, at least, you got the idea, you know, the guy, you know, he's just nipping out for a fag and misses his child doing something, which is something, let's face it, I bet most smokers can relate to. It certainly rings some bells with me, the amount of times I came back in and said, what happened? You know, it's happened a lot with me and my kids, that's for sure. So it's at least there's a better point in there rather than you can ride your bike with them, which is what the other one was saying. So I think as an addict, it's better. I mean, what did you think of that one, Kat? You were laughing at it.
I loved it. I mean, I thought it was really funny. Again, there was a subtlety there because that's sort of gone to the new age smoker, hasn't it? Because in my day, you didn't go outside. People smoked in the house, you know.
Well, yeah.
But
yeah.
it's become very much the thing now that people go outside to have a cigarette. So it's done that, and it's done it in a really clever way, because we can all sort of recognise what somebody goes out the house for.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I loved it. I think, I mean, it was very funny, but it would have come across to me slightly more to the point, because let's face it, he could have been going to the loo.
Yeah.
If he'd sort of put his hat and coat on and muffler and had to stand out in the snow, that I would have got a bit quicker.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
It's an interesting point. I think I read it on UKV earlier. Somebody made a comment, and I'm sorry if I picked it up from somewhere else and have misremembered. But somebody said, it's okay for them to show people smoking when it's an anti-smoking ad, but not if they'd have shown him outside having a fag there, like you say, in the cold with his coat on or something like that. It probably would have had more impact. But I wonder if they're allowed to do that.
Well, you wouldn't have had to. You wouldn't have had to show. Even just head and shoulders, and the action of stubbing out causes a gesture by your head and shoulders, where you sort of you know it's easily recognised without actually seeing the cigarette.
Yeah. But that said, I have to say I do relate to both the look he gets off his missus when he says he's going outside. I recognise that well. And also the whole concept of coming back in and saying, what? What have I missed? Sav, your thoughts on that one?
I have to say I like that one a lot more. Yes, I was a little slow and had to have it explained to me, but once I got
no, I wasn't going to mention that. I wasn't going to mention that.
But, I don't mind. I know I'm a little slow. But yeah, once I caught on to it, I thought, yes, that makes perfect sense, and I like it, and it did make me giggle.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, of the two, that's obviously a British commercial and not an American one.
Very much, yeah, because the first one even had an American voiceover, didn't it?
Exactly, yeah, and I think people will relate more to the second ad, and I think they've been very clever using somebody like Mark Benton, who's quite well known. You know, he's in a lot of TV stuff. Even if you don't know what his name is, you've probably seen him in one of the programs that he's been in. And I did an IMDb on him earlier just to check out exactly what he had been in. And he's been in absolutely tons of stuff. So
well,
I think
like I say, I don't even watch telly, and I recognised his face. I couldn't have told you what he was in. So, but I mean, it must be pretty reasonably well done.
The only thing that I have concerns with e-lights about is I was in Gretna Services last week, my usual stop on the way to Scotland, getting my mega shot latte, and I dropped into the kind of newsagent type shop, and they're selling the e-lights in there, and they're selling 2 cartos for £8, and they're still saying it's 80 fags. So that's the only issue that I've got with these kind of cigar likes.
Yeah, it's an issue that I think most of us have got with them, to be honest with you, but it doesn't look like... it's interesting. One of them got turned over recently, didn't they, by advertising standards for claims made on their websites, and they didn't touch that one. And I guess it's because there's no there's no accepted standard.
Yeah.
So it is. I'll admit that it's become more of an irritation than something that makes my blood boil like it used to. But that's quite a nice lead in to the question I was going to ask you all. Actually, I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree that it's a good thing to raise the profile of what we're doing, particularly, and I don't believe it's coincidence that these ads are appearing as we hear about the revisions to the Tobacco Products Directive and stuff like that. I think what we see here is the industry fighting back a bit and trying to make these things more mainstream. So there's an economic argument, but I don't think anybody disagrees that it's good to see the profile of e-cigs being raised in that way. But obviously, these products are not great products. So I think that certainly the four of us on here would agree. I mean, what's your feeling on that, Kat? Is this doing harm or is this doing good?
It's one of those things where you're pulled in two directions, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, I read in today's Daily Mail, and of course, with it being the Daily Mail, I don't know how true this is. But it did say that the Mark Benton advert had been pulled.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
That they were allowing the other one, but not the Mark Benton one. Now, how true that is, as I say, I don't know, because it was in the Daily Mail.
Oh, that's very interesting.
My feeling on it is, I don't like anything that promotes something that looks like a cigarette. I have watched, I mean, the day that the FDA were having that latest hearing, both Sav and I sat and watched it all day. And it was quite obvious to us that the people sitting on the board who were making these massive, massive decisions hadn't even had a cigarette in their hand in their life. And they all envisioned that it looked like, every e-cig looked like a cigarette. And it's companies like this that are promoting that vision.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I know on the other side of it, we've got the people who want their first experience to be like a cigarette because they've got all these mental notes, shall we say, that things they're addicted to about a cigarette, and it goes from tip to tail, whether it's a king size, it's a super king, you know what I mean? They really are everything. Whereas, and that side of it bothers me, but this, from Daz, the e-shisha, it's the same size, just about, as one of these more cigarettes. The weight is quite canny, and I would prefer to see colours and have these bloody cigarettes banned. So companies like E-Lights, etc., would get my full support if they did that. But I do understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're selling what people buy, I guess. Yeah. What
people are demanding.
What about you, Sav? I mean, the question really, I mean, is it's good to have some kind of promotion, but are we promoting the right things, or are they promoting the right things? What do you think?
I think it's got to be, especially at this current time, it's got to be a good thing. The more people that see this and are aware of it, the better. And I mean, I've got a few comments from people in chat.
Yeah, shout out.
Where Tubes has said, for example, they may not be great products, but they are great gateways. And if they get people off the cigarettes, this is great. Tracy Collins has said, people start with something like this, and it's when the cost is higher than smoking, you start to do your research and look into better or cheaper options.
Yeah.
And Vape and Daz said this could go one of three ways. They will either start with it, like it, and stick to it. They'll look for something better, or they'll go back to cigarettes.
Fair point. Mark, we must be running fairly close to time, so I'm going to let you have the last word on this, mate.
Yeah, I think we've got about 30 seconds, Dave. I mean, with the whole European thing kicking off, I think it's a good thing. It's going to be more socially acceptable, if you like, for a cig-alike that it is going to be for one of these, or for one of these for the mainstream. And then if people want to go onto these, like we did, then fair enough. But what we need is we need good, solid advertising, and we need stuff that's going to be socially acceptable to help us with the whole European Tobacco Directives Revision 2012 Clause 3 shenanigans.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So we must be damn close to needing to wrap this up, I would imagine, Kat.
We're actually over, and it's my fault for gassing again. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the watch thinking, she can't blame me. She's sitting right there. She could have said it
You never
any
ask
time.
a woman a question, especially when there's only 2 minutes to go.
So what I shall do then, I shall professionally and seamlessly wrap this up. I'd just like to say to everybody that's watching tonight, thanks very much for watching. I hope this was a hastily put together show. I want to really thank the three guys who are sort of sitting above me. For giving up their time at extremely short notice and agreeing to give up their evenings and help us put this on. Fingers crossed Dave will get his internet back online and he'll be back sort of chewing us all our ears out in the near future. Hopefully he should be back online tomorrow. I hope we didn't do too bad a job of murdering his show. Whatever happens, I'll be back on Sunday. So for Dave's Tackle Box at 9 o'clock, and then we'll start again, and maybe next week we'll get more than one show in its allotted scheduled time, who knows. Until then, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to play you out with my credits as well, because it's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Good night.